From Monday to Tuesday, you don't have any fun. From Wednesday to Thursday, just going out for a run. Friday and Saturday, you're always getting drunk. And Sunday, you stay at home and never go to church.
It's astounding. Time is fleeting. Madness takes its toll. But listen closely.
Not for very much longer.
I've got to keep control.
Doing the time war, drinking those moments when the blackness would hit me and the void would be calling. Let's do the time war again. Let's do the time war again.
It's just a jump to the left. With your hands on your hips.
It's so dreamy. Oh, fantasy free me. So you can't see me. No, not at all. In another dimension. With voyeuristic intention. Well secluded. I see all.
With a bit of mind flip.
You're into the time slip.
And nothing can ever be the same.
It's my startled sensation.
Like you're under sedation. Let's do the time war again. Let's do the time war again.
Well, I was walking down the street just a having a thing when a stinky big guy gave me an evil wing. He shook me up, he took me by surprise. He had a big ass track and a devil's eyes. He stared at me and I felt a change. Time and nothing never would again.
Let's do the time war again. Let's do the time war again.
It's just a jump to the left. With your hands on your hips.
Give it night and day. Dick out the good friend of mine. He loves drinking all the time. Drinks until he's deaf and blind. Thinking like a pixel's mind. Budweiser and Miller too. Any type of booze will do. Boxing go more tried and true. Most of all that give is brew. Pound can, keep on drinking. When you're drinking, don't know he's thinking he had his own way. He'd be drunk every night and day. Get so drunk he hits the floor, gets back up and drinks some more. Drinks as fast as you can for his life must be a real chore. Pound the cans, keep on drinking. When he gets drunk, he'll know he's thinking. Wait till we can change his mind so he's not drinking all the time. Drinking. 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 Drunk.
All right, my night outers. That was Frenzy of Tongues. The name of the song was Kyle. Actually, a good friend of my in-studio guest right now. We have in studio Mr. Travis What's your last name? Landry?
Landry,
right?
there you
Travis
go.
Landry.
You got it.
From Bruno and Company Auctioneers and toy director for
Rhode Island
Comic-Con. Hey, I even remembered all that. Before that, by the way, yeah, he had to puppet me to get me through that one, but thank you. Before that was Rocky Horror Picture Show Time Warp. Yeah, there we go. See, I'm remembering everything because it's written down in front of me. So, guys, like I said, we have in-studio guest Mr. Travis Landry. We also have in-studio Mr. Tony Jones.
Yes, very true.
And we're going a little bit off the script here because, we got a lot of stuff to talk about because Mr. Landry here is going to be at one of my favorite conventions, the Rhode Island Comic-Con convention. But he has one of those jobs that, you remember the kids that you used to get beat up a lot because, you were interested in girls and they were still playing with Transformers out in the backyard?
Yes.
Well, this is one of those guys that was doing that. And now he's got one over on us because he's made a career out of this.
And I have a girlfriend. That is
I
like
can
the
attest. She's real.
yeah, like that is the unbelievable part. But no, yeah, I made. It's cool to say that I play with toys as a job. It's
that's just a beautiful thing. Now, before we even start digging into your job, and I say this every time we talk about conventions, but there's always a connection. You have your regular family, the people you associate with, your friends, and then you have your con family.
Yes, absolutely.
So, I mean, you can skip a couple of years, go to different conventions. If you see someone that you know and you start talking to them and they remember you, they're your family.
Absolutely. And I mean, especially with Rhode Island Comic-Con and then under the whole branch, Altered Reality Entertainment, I mean, we're going to 4 or 5 conventions a year, whether it's their own shows or shows of their affiliates, and you get to know people. Like it is a family.
It is.
It's a convention family, and it's something special. It's a real special bond. We have that convention bond, Eddie.
We do. and I was actually going to bring up the first night we hung out together.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Jones, I don't even know where you were that night, but we're at the after party. We're sitting at a table with Gremlina Glow,
100.
one or two other B, C, D list celebrities, and of course Ryan was working his booth all day. Travis was working his booth all day, so he really didn't get out to see the B, C, D list celebrities. So we're sitting there, we're having a drink, and he turns to me and says, "When are we going to see some celebrities?" Fortunately, Grammy stands about 4 foot tall because I thought she was going to sail over the table and choke him.
Yeah,
But-
that was a fun night. I can't believe how long ago that is now. Time flies.
Yeah.
Travis wasn't probably even old enough to drink at that time.
No, I know. That is definitely a new exciting thing in the world.
That is not true. He was just 21 when that happened.
Especially if the legal department is listening.
Yeah, always 21. I don't have that ID anymore, though. It's just my mass one.
But no, that's like I said, it's one of the things, if you go to conventions a lot, you see a lot of the same vendors bouncing around different areas, and you get to know, number one, what they have as far as goods, which is really good for you because if you make a connection with these people, chances are they're going to be doing a better deal with you.
Absolutely. And when it comes to these vendors at the show, you can see it right away. There are the vendors that have had the same inventory for 5 years. Since the inception of Rhode Island Comic-Con, they're still bringing the same book for $450 that they're asking, where it's only worth $275. And then you have the dealers where it's a book worth $325, but they'll let it go for $250. And they have those room, and they're there to sell today. So it's
you
absolutely.
have some people that are there more to exhibit what they have.
Yes.
And if they happen to sell it at a much higherly marked up price, great. And then you have the other ones that I'm here to make money.
Yeah, the real wheeler and dealers.
Yeah. Speaking of wheeling and dealing,
Yeah.
what do you have going on at Comic-Con this year?
So basically at Comic-Con, I'll be having a panel on Saturday for investing in pop culture,
Okay.
which is going to be a lot of fun. So if you want to think about if you ever thought of a comic book as a stock, that's definitely something you want to check out. But then right before Comic-Con on October 28th, which is, what is that, 2 weekends before, I think, the convention?
Yeah.
Yes.
On a Saturday, we'll have our toy and comic auction over at the gallery on 63 4th Ave in Cranston for if you want to come check out some high-end toys, comics, and just get a feel and look at what the stuff is. It's different than going, for people that want to handle an Amazing Fantasy 15 or an Avengers 1, X-Men 1, we'll let you touch it, smell it. You can even lick it if you want. I don't really care. It's in plastic. So it's a cool chance for people to see a lot of... It's like going to a museum for a day.
You have to be careful when you say stuff like that.
Especially if the legal department is listening.
I'm not even worried about legal department. I know some of my listeners personally. Trust me, they will come down and try to lick whatever
I heard it on the show.
Yeah, I heard he said I can lick it. Okay. Once, just quickly.
So, before we start getting into really the nitty-gritty, we're going to go to some more music.
You got it.
Here's a band that I've had the pleasure to work with a couple of times. The name of the song is Kaiju Mosh. This is Roadkill. We'll be back in a minute.
Ooh.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Kilgore. Name of that song, Senorita Beefeater. Before was Roadkill with Kaiju Mosh. And in true nerd form, Travis over here had to point out to me, he goes, does he know that's about like Japanese monsters?
Oh, the Godzilla!
In studio, we do have Travis from, oh God, things are in front of my notes. Sorry about this. Travis Landry from Bruno and Company Auctioneers. You have no idea how short of a memory span I have.
That's okay.
It's somewhere between a gnat and a bug. Anyways, now you are full-time employed actually with Bruno and Company Auctioneers.
I am. So I work for Bruno & Co. full-time. I am their auctioneer for their large estate auctions and fine art sales, and then I write the catalogs for those sales.
Okay. Now, you are the one that actually does that.
I do.
Sell me something. You got a water bottle
I
in front of
do.
you?
So
Sell
what
me
I
that.
have here is a rare and fine, unusual example of a Stop and Shop Acadia water bottle. And who'll get it going at $5,000? Get it going $5,000. How about $2,500 to start? $1,000 bill. Get it going. I got $1,000 out. $1,100. I got $1,000 to my right, looking for $1,100. I got $1,100 out back, looking for $12. I got $1,100 out back in the back of the crowd, looking for $1,200. I got $12 now. $1,300. Looking for $1,400. $14 now. $1,500. I got $1,400 out back, looking for $1,500. We all done at $14, looking for $1,500. I got $14, go $1,500. You bought it, sir. $1,400. You own it.
Wow. I think I just spent a year's worth of rent.
It's a very rare water bottle.
Very rare. So, getting back to the Comic-Con, getting back to what you're doing at now, are you going to have a booth at Comic-Con? Are you going to be displaying stuff?
So the company will have a booth there.
Bruno will have a booth
Bruno
there.
and Co. will have a booth there. Myself, I'll be running around like a nut, balancing, getting comic books signed for consigners. I'm also supposed to be taking part and helping out with Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier, so I'll make sure he gets from point A to point B, which is kind of exciting. That's going to be my nerd moment. And then really, that's about it. So I'll be around. I'll have a panel on Saturday. You'll be able to come check out. But other than that, you'll be able to find me. I'll just look for the guy running around a million miles an hour.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I mean, it's a great weekend because you get to see so many cool things, but focusing for any length of time is very difficult. Now, I do a lot of on-location stuff myself.
Yep.
You know, I'm just walking around, I see something cool, and I'll, point the camera at myself and have like a strange angle holding it up so I can get myself and whatever it is in the picture. But now, for you to do a panel, what I know you're going to be investing in pop culture and what have you, but how do you prepare for something like that?
I don't 100. I literally, actually, when I was at Retro World, I did a panel, and I was 5 minutes late. I ran in, and what was crazy is, there were actually people waiting. I was like, oh, my God, no. And they walked in thinking there was going to be some big presentation. I just have an open forum discussion. Mm-hmm. I just talk to you. I let you know. It's one-on-one, ask questions. That's really it. There's nothing fancy to it.
Okay, now, what are your expectations for your
panel?
I
don't know. I mean, it's always tough. I'm not the I'm not the Avengers Hulk, so I'm not up on the ladder. But I'd love to get 20, 25 people who actually really want to learn, who are interested in buying and selling, who are interested. Can I invest $100 today and turn it into $500 in 2 years?
Yep.
For those people, that little group, because when you go to Comic-Con, there's a lot, 80,000 people or whatever they're going to be expecting. When you go out there, how many people are really there who are the serious collectors of mind who want to learn that? That's what I'm trying to draw out of the crowd. Okay. So I'm more of a niche specified audience for the collector who wants to learn how to build and how to actually, instead of just collecting, collect with a smart mind and invest. It's like it's literally building a portfolio.
Now, I've been getting a lot of advice from a lot of people, and of course, advice, as we know, is just like everyone's got one, they all stink. But
thank you for cleaning that up, by the way.
It's okay. You're going to have to clean up later on, anyways. When you're getting into like autographs and signatures, and how do you get something like that authenticated?
Well,
I mean, personally, when I get an autograph, I take a picture of him while he's doing it,
the best.
Shake their hand. So, I mean, then I get the picture of him signing it. Then I have a picture with me, whoever signed it, and the picture in it.
And that's perfect. You know, that's what provenance is. That's how we add to it. That's the difference between having back in the day, this is a Mickey Mantle baseball that my grandfather had versus here's the black and white photo of him getting it, of him as a child.
But now if you don't have that,
then that's tough. Then you have to go through an authentication company. And that's like with, the comics, the different grading companies. They'll either do a witness signature or they'll do a verified signature. Or you'll go to there's another company out there called PSA where they do exemplar autographs and they're authenticate. So that's where, when it comes to if it's worth getting it authenticated, if it's a signature that's worth money, then it's worth putting that little bit of investment in to get the solidarity.
And now, have you ever had the opportunity to, I always go for the negative, to dispute, like someone says, oh, this is an original Stan Lee signature, which, from what I understand, he'll sign anything short of a pillowcase.
Yeah, so
they kind of devalues it anyways.
It's that's horrible to say because I mean Stan Lee is up there now in his 90s, so he's a factory right now of signatures, and I mean we have books that I get signed, and it's terrible. It's on an X-Men 1 that I had signed for the upcoming auction. It literally looks like a black smear of Sharpie. I can't even see what's going on in the signature, but it's like. You lay down 50 books, and it's just his hand just keeps going. It's like you shuffle the book to put his hand in the way. So, I mean, unfortunately, that brings the value down.
Yeah.
But
so, basically, you just have a smear on the front of a...
Yeah. An X-Men 1 with a black Sharpie mark on it.
May or
But
may not
it was
be.
witnessed that Stan Lee make that black smudge, so people care.
I have some wrestling toys that fall into that category of, these guys kind of went boom or bust, and on the bust we're just signing anything you could put in front of them. And I have no way of knowing if that's their actual signature because I bought them secondhand.
Now, personally, and like I said, I always go through that my own process. I even frame everything together.
Oh, nice.
And I now, of course, I come from a long line of nerds myself.
A long lineage.
My mother is actually nuts over Felix Silla.
Oh,
and she's been to
Tweaky.
Comic-Con, right?
I actually took my mom to Comic-Con.
He's a Comic-Con staple.
Oh, I know. But she was walking around, and there was a guy who was dressed like Mr. Spock. And that was one of those galvanizing moments that my mom may not be 100% anymore, because she's telling me that Leonard Nimoy was up there dressed as Mr. Spock. It's like, Ma, he died like 8 months ago.
Yeah.
But she had to take me. She went up there. She showed me, and I can always tell when my mother's been somewhere because if she goes through again, people look at her because she's one of those. I'm a senior citizen. If you got something free, I want it now.
So she's a senior citizen.
Oh yeah, she is a very demanding senior citizen. I love her. I love my mother to death. However, when she goes up to the Verizon booth, which of course is an end cap, it's got like twice as deep. She goes up there, and the guys roll their eyes as soon as she rolls up on them.
That's
I know
awesome.
I'm going to walk away with a bag full of crap that I have no use for, but she's going to get it for me because she wants to.
Oh, yeah.
But now, I touched upon it briefly with my mom. With your parents.
Yep.
You know, you said on the Tony Jones show a little bit earlier that your parents were collectors and
exactly.
And, how did they take it that like my son is going to play with toys for the next?
Not very well because my dad. So it's like very. My dad was a cop. My dad's a cop. My mom was a nurse. So very, I don't know how to put it, but just like
job
straight,
oriented.
Yeah, job or just like straight path career. Like, oh, I'm a police officer, work up the ranks. I'm a nurse. I help people. This. So to say like, oh, I want to be a comic book dealer or a toy dealer or an antiques dealer is a little out of the ordinary. And to think they did it as a hobby. They did it as like, oh, get a job and now I can enjoy life and collect things. And their big thing was Roseville pottery, which unfortunately, as a quick side note, has dropped tremendously in value. Not everybody wants floral pots with blue and pink glazes on them. But that's how I just really got into it. They were collectors, and every Friday from literally since I can remember, every Friday night I spent it at an auction up until I went to college. Every Friday was at a local auction.
Well, you
Saturday.
actually brought up a good point with the dropping in price of what they were collecting. Who actually determines what something is worth?
So that is a really good question because there's always the debate of what is it worth? Well, it's not gold, it's not silver, it's not a commodity, so it's only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. I mean, you look at what things sell for at auctions, and a crazy chair because two people wanted it, can sell for $20,000, but is it really worth that as a chair? No, because after those two people, who's there to buy it for that price?
Yeah.
So that's why when we talk about value, it's only worth what it sells for on that day. And that's what's really tough because if you think, if you have something that's worth $5,000, once someone buys it for $5,000, that person at that price point is out.
Benchmark.
So it's the person beneath him who is at $4,800 who wants to buy it. Now, once that person's gone, there's no one who wants to pay up to that high price. So depending on how you collect, whether you want to be first in line or 18th in line is depending on how on how much it's going to be worth. So prime examples with the Star Wars market, when Episode 7 was being announced and people started listing, AFA 85 graded 12-backs, the best you could find, perfect examples, they were selling for $5,000. It was crazy.
For the uninitiated, what did you actually just say?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a little bit of a nerd tangent. So a 12-back. So when Star Wars came out in 1977, Kenner didn't have the ability to produce toys for the Christmas season. So in 1978, when the toys came out, the first 12 figures available, they call it a 12-back, and that's just because when you would turn the figure over, so say if you bought a Darth Vader, it would show the 12 other figures that were available in the line. So like a Stormtrooper, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, C-3PO, R2-D2, the Death Squad Commander, Sand People, Han Solo, Chewbacca. Who am I forgetting? A Jawa. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, you lost me.
I think I have them all.
Vader and Luke and Leia. After that, it's all clicking.
So those first 12-backs were extremely valuable, and they still are today. But the problem is now you can go on eBay and you can buy any 12-back Darth Vader, any grade you want. There's 30 of them available. That's because everyone's asking that crazy high price, and everybody who was part of the buzz, who wanted to partake and buy it at those prices, are now own them. Because you have to think, what the movies bring out are a lot of fans who, they call them bandwagoners.
Yep.
And I remember this from when Transformers came out in 2007 because prices literally quadrupled in value. And everyone was like, oh, it's all these people jumping on. They don't appreciate it. They don't collect. And it's like, no, they do appreciate it. They appreciate it for a different reason. They were brought in from the movies. They weren't playing with toys in their basement from 12 to 30. That's the difference.
I started playing with toys at 30.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't make him a bad guy.
No.
Or girl.
We're all fans. There's no reason to get mad just when markets change.
Okay, we're going to take a quick little break here. We're going to play a couple more songs.
You got it.
We're going to leave here with a song from Chained to Insanity. The name of the song is Raising Hell. We'll be back in a minute.
Got
right, ladies and gentlemen, that was 1031, the original 1031. Name of the song was Texas Death. Before that, we had Chained to Insanity. Name of the song was Raising Hell. Now, if you want to be part of the show like Travis here, you want to get out whatever you want to get out information-wise, if you want to submit some music to me, whatever you want to do, if you want to get us involved in something you want to do, MyNightOutRadio@Verizon.net. Also, don't forget the website, MyNightOutRI.com, for all your upcoming events. Facebook /MyNightOut. Twitter and Instagram. You could look me up at DJ Psyco Eddie. In studio, we have Travis Landry from Bruno and Company Auctioneers and Rhode Island Comic Con. He's one of the guys that I've known pretty much since Comic Con started.
Yeah, more or less.
Within the first year or two, we started hanging out. Great guy to get to know. If you see him walking around, he is doing a panel on Saturday at Comic-Con. Also in studio, we have Mr. Tony Jones.
Great to be here.
Now, one of the things that I really like doing, now I don't know about you, but the food at the convention center is shit. Let's not beat around.
And expensive.
Expensive.
Yeah.
You know, my wife and I, we pride ourselves in not eating crappy food. This is the first episode in forever that I haven't actually started talking about food right off the bat. But there's a place not too far from the convention center. He's open up all weekend long because he's literally right in the middle of like 7 or 8 clubs. It's called Sejo's Pizza. It's a little place that if you want, I'll even take you there.
Oh, yeah.
I will pay for the Uber to take you there.
Oh.
That's right. As an Uber driver, I get very good discounts on rides. But now I'm saying this because I did product research over this past week, and by that I was hungry. I was in Providence, and Sejo's was open, so I went there and I got a gyro, whatever you want to, meat, lettuce, tomato, onions,
that
in a
creamy
pita bread,
type of sauce,
tzatziki sauce, cucumber sauce. Yeah. Now, I didn't realize this at first. I've been going there on and off, and I revisit quite a bit. But Sejo is actually the owner's name. I thought it was like whatever town he was from or whatever, but his actual name is Sejo. So Sejo's Pizza, it's a gourmet pizzeria. It's at 85 Richmond Street. Now, the part that gets me, you may not notice this by listening to me on the air. I have said it maybe once or twice an episode. I'm a fat guy. I like to eat. Now, for $7, I got, it has to be about a 14-inch long,
for
$7.
That's awesome. Oh, I want to go there.
That and a soda, and I walked away full. It was absolutely amazing. And, of course, the guy is telling me, do you want this? Do you want that? You have all these different options, different stuff you could put on. And basically, I tell him, do it whatever way you would do it for yourself. Mm-hmm. So he puts on fresh garlic. He puts in some hotter. He puts in the tzatziki, but he puts some other spices in it too. It's got a nice little tingle to it. Oh my God! I don't care what. I'll go in there in a sumo wrestling outfit. If you could find one, I'll put it. In fact, I think I got one somewhere. I will go in there just for that. For that gyro. That's how good it was.
That's awesome.
So, and like I said, it's 85 Richmond Street. It's right around the corner. If you're familiar with Providence at all, second floor right above it was Alchemy. First floor is Ego.
Former Spike's Hot Dog.
Exactly.
And also the short-lived Purgatory Coffee Shop because Hell was next door. Club Hell was next door, and they were Purgatory for a while.
That's awesome.
Well, Sejo's is actually doing quite well from what I understand. I believe... If the scuttlebutt I'm picking up on from local business owners, he's actually looking to open a second location or move to a better location. I'm not sure the whole story, but I will be looking into that in the upcoming months. So again, Travis, I got to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
Our friend, let's use his alias, Fred Z. Tong from the Frenzy of Tongs. He messaged me a little bit earlier and asked me to ask you a question.
I hope he's listening right now. I
I
miss
hope so,
Fred
too,
Z.
because-
Tong. I hope he's doing well, and I hope he's at Comic-Con. I can't wait to see him. And I want to go see you live, Fred Z. Tong.
Now, he asked me to ask you about when you got sprayed.
Oh, my...
Now, is this something we can even discuss on the air? He warned me.
Did he tell you what the
He
story
told
was?
me absolutely nothing about it,
Wow.
which is why I had to wait until this point to ask you. Because this could derail the whole show.
All of a sudden, I see an FCC helicopter circling the building.
So I think I can answer it 50%. So I come in. This is when we're doing Antiques Alley for Rhode Island PBS, and we have a filming and a photo shoot at the studio. And I walk in, and I had this horrible case of pink eye,
Oh, jeez.
which was caused by a. Oh man, this is gonna get really weird sounding. Caused by someone else's bodily secretion.
Yeah, there we go. That's the technical word.
Yeah,
As long as you use medical terminology, you can say it.
secretions that of the opposite sex, of course. So let's make that clear. And I was headed down there, and it was just like, whoa. It was like getting sprayed by a skunk.
My eye.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like the radio edited version with medical terminology.
So when we go off the air, you have to tell me the whole story.
Yes, 100%.
So Fred, is that a good enough answer for you? Definitely. By the way, if you want to get in touch with me and you're on Facebook right now, if you're on Twitter, Instagram, I do monitor. I may not always respond to you, but I always monitor all my social media. So if you have questions that might be pertinent, you might want to fill
Nothing
that
like
out.
getting pink eye before you're going to be filmed and a photo shoot.
Oh, yeah. It was horrible when I woke up the second day after it. It spread to my other eye.
So he put on a pirate costume.
That's awesome.
I don't know where to go from there. I think at this point I can say it's fortunately that we're coming close. We're running low on time. But
that's a little behind the scenes info in my life right there.
yeah, there's some stuff in life we just don't need to know. But anyways, let's move forward. You got a couple of events coming up. One
Yes.
October 28th.
Yes.
That is
The Toy and Comic Auction headed at Bruno and Co-Auctioneers at the Gallery, 63 4th Avenue in Cranston, right off of Elmwood. If you want to come check out some cool comics, toys, a lot of fun stuff going on.
Okay. And you'll be at Comic-Con. You're doing your panel on Saturday. Now, during Comic-Con, while you're doing your running around, will you be at the Bruno booth for any length of time?
I will. I'll be chiming in there. I mean, there's going to be everyone from the team, Kevin, Ashley, Jared. We're all going to be there. So there'll be one of us there at one point in
Will
time.
there be comfy chairs for me to lay on?
Oh, of course. I'll make sure I have comfy chairs for you.
Because I got a press pass. We don't have a booth this year at Comic-Con, which I believe I dropped the ball on this. At least Tony will make it sound like I dropped the ball on this. Usually it's me that takes care of that table, and we chip in or whatever. But it's for the radio station anyways. But this year we dropped the ball and we didn't get a table. So now I'm trying to find any place where I can find a place to sit for a while. So what's that, Tony?
Which everybody does, by the way. We had a booth at this past Connecticut, and we had a spare chair, and that chair was more popular than our booth because people walking around all day wanted to sit in our spare chair.
But I do have to say, this will be the first year I don't spend $150 on candy.
Well, we have some in the. It may be expired now, but we have some left over.
Left over from Connecticut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imported candy. Think about that. That's a delicacy.
Imported all the way from Connecticut.
That's fancy.
Yes, you have to unwrap it with both your pinkies out. All right, why don't we cut to some more music? In fact, these guys were in here last week. Great bunch of guys, good partying band. Name of the band is Magunks. I'm going to go with some of their older stuff. Working on Another Hangover. We'll be back in a minute. And I got to press play on this. I'm still not using. Through what, 3 weeks in, I'm still not used to this stuff. We'll get it eventually. This is McGuffs. We'll be back.
Find myself getting lower and lower, making my way up to the bottom of the barrel again. Left hand knows where the right hand's been. Same old story, wearing thin again.
and that was Drunk Rob and the Shots. Fat girls need love too. Which kind of plays into what we were talking about earlier.
Yes,
before that, we had the Magunks working on another hangover. Now, totally unplanned, but oh so apropos for the conversation we just had. Some things in life are just a little more disturbing because it's true.
Yeah.
Last couple of questions. I only got a couple of minutes left. What are you looking forward to for yourself, not work-wise, but for yourself at Comic-Con? What are you looking for? What are you looking to do? What's one of your highlights of the weekend coming up?
One of my highlights is just going to be working. That's really going to be it. I'm not even kidding. That sounds like a no-life answer, I know. But it's going to be working with the people, getting to see. I love seeing how everyone gets excited and just the environment of going around, meeting the celebs, getting to see them, be like, oh, that's the Hulk right there. That's kind of cool. He's just standing there. That's the Winter Soldier. That's Pee Wee Herman. That's going to be really cool.
Now, is there a disclaimer or a warning you should give us about any of the celebrities or anything that you can tell us? Put it that way.
I would just say, let's just be polite. We don't need to make any jokes about.
Don't make anyone's history.
Yeah,
historical jokes.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. If you don't know what we're talking about,
the 90s.
If you don't know what we're talking about, let's keep it that way. If you do know what you're talking about and you have a similar story, keep it to yourself. We really don't want to know. No. That's just some disturbing crap. But again, Travis, I can't thank you enough for coming down, for staying for the whole show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It was great having you down. Tony, I appreciate you making me sound this wonderful.
This is another one of those hours where I know it was a good show because my innards hurt from laughing so much.
Oh, you get used to that after a while. Innards hurting, that's getting old. But I'm looking forward to seeing everyone now. Comic-Con, if I'm not mistaken, is the second weekend.
Yeah, so
11th, 12th, and 13th?
Isn't it 10 to 12? Or is it 11, 12, 13?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. We'd have to look at a calendar. I'm really bad with those numbers.
I have about a minute left, so we're not going to pull that up.
Oh, but
we're not going to pull up the information on Comic-Con right now.
And then we have the toy auction on October 28th. You can always follow me at Travis_Landry on Twitter. This is a little high school of me, but at TLands, double Z on Instagram.
Also, don't forget Bruno, BRUNEAU, and Company Auctioneers. They're also on Facebook, and you can even shop online. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, all our auctions are online.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening in for this wonderful, fun-filled hour. We're going to leave here with a group that I've had the pleasure to work with several times. The name of the band is Most Dangerous Men Alive. The name of the song is Lose Control. Have a good night, everybody.